Hey friends, Lissa here, and I am joined by the awesome Dr. DINA, and we're going to do a video about the mistakes that some people do that prevent them from becoming raw vegan long term. It's going to be an awesome video, so stay tuned. So thank you so much, Dr. Rick, for being on my channel, sharing your knowledge here. I have enjoyed immensely your talks, and your wife Karen, her talks too, have just been phenomenal, and I appreciate everything that you guys are bringing and all the knowledge that you're sharing. So could you tell my fans, my followers, a little bit about yourself?
Sure, I would be honored to. So, we're here at the UK Fruit Fest 2019. You connect with old friends, you meet with new friends. Melissa's a new friend here, so we're really excited to meet her. She's just friendly and cheerful, right on the onset. You guys know that better than I do. So really a pleasure to be here. So I've been eating a raw vegan diet since 1987, so
right.
Been around the block a little bit. Liked it so much I wanted to go, in addition to reading books and tapes, or listening to tapes back then, and going to conferences and meetups. There wasn't meetups, they were potlucks then, but in addition to all that stuff, I wanted to go back to school to earn a degree, to learn as much as I could about science. So I got a Doctor of Chiropractic degree. For the next 4 years, I spent at True North Health Center. Some of you out there have heard of that place. It's,
I actually promote it on my channel.
Excellent.
As a place for people to go to safely fast, or get advice and be looked after.
Yep, so it's a
Yeah.
medically supervised water fasting facility where people recover from all sorts of things that the doctors say they're not going to recover from. Not everything every time, but lots of things. And I just got a wealth of clinical experience there. I was there for 4 years. So fast forwarding about 10 years or so, my wife and my wife has been a raw vegan since 1990. She's gone to school, earned doctorate degrees herself. So once we teamed up and got together, we developed a curriculum called the Science of Raw Food Nutrition. We taught that 10 years in person, and now we have an online curriculum, the new and improved version called Mastering Raw Food Nutrition. And we love coming to conferences like this to speak and share our information. And we just love meeting people on this path who are experiencing the benefits. And so that's kind of me in a nutshell, and I'm really happy to be here.
Oh, thank you. We are so happy to have you here, and everybody is so blessed to be able to learn so much from you.
And you too, and all the
you.
people here. I mean, it's really great.
And it's really cool to see the different perspectives from different people. Like, you are more on the science side, and then some people are more, I like to talk a lot about mindset and food addiction and stuff like that, weight loss obviously, but yeah, we all have kind of our different niches, and it's really good to get different perspectives from everybody and learn from us all. So yeah,
absolutely.
so awesome.
Yep, and we like that stuff too, but we're kind of, because we're nerdy, we kind of specialize in the science thing too.
Exactly.
But mindset's incredibly important.
Oh my gosh.
Without the right thoughts, if you will, or food going in here, you'd never even bother going on a path like this. In fact, we have a little section in our class called the psychological factors of health and healing. And I say, if you believe that life's a bitch, then you die, or life's a bitch, then you marry one, you're never even going to be on this path. So yeah, I hear
exactly.
you. Mindset's huge.
It is huge. So what I wanted to talk about in this video, there are a lot of people who want to be raw long term. They fall off the path, they, come into, conflicting information or whatever. So what would be your top 3 things that cause people to not be raw long term? Like they fall off the wagon, or, they try something else. They just feel like they can't do it for, as long as you have.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a great question, and I mean, first of all, it's not always so easy socially, but anyway, I came up with the top 3. So number 1, sort of more from the science nutrition perspective, is number 1 is not consuming enough calories.
Did you hear that, guys? It's coming from a doctor.
And this is just any observation from years of doing this. But, as Melissa, I'm sure you all know, she eats piles of food, and that's so great. And the thing is, if I had a handful of a cheeseburger or some French fries or a vegan donut or something like that, you pack a lot of calories into those foods. They're low in water, they're low in fiber, and they're high in fat. Water, fiber, and fat are the three major determinants of what we call calorie density. Fruits and vegetables, on the other hand, are high in water, they're high in fiber, and they're low in fat, but the profile of fat in there is very healthy. So that means you've got to eat a lot more volume in order to get an adequate amount of calories. And most people are used to, especially when they want to try to lose weight, restricting their diet.
Yeah.
So if you apply the normal volume of food that you eat to fruits and vegetables, you might only be getting 600 or 800 calories a day. Now, you can survive like that for a while. In fact, you might feel really good and clear. Your body isn't using much energy digesting, but you're getting some good nutrients in. But over the long term, that doesn't work. Sometimes your lab work doesn't look so good after a while. Your hormone levels are too low and there's other issues. And after a while, you're just like, I need to eat, right? And then you have a hamburger or something like that, and you feel so much better. So you really need to eat large volumes of fruits and vegetables. And if you're willing to do that, it can be so much fun, as Melissa knows.
Yeah, exactly. You've got like these massive bowls. I mean, you guys know, you see my stuff. And some people say also on that note, how is it that you can eat that much volume? Because some people have issues with that.
Right. Well, your stomach gets used to it. I mean, first of all, if you're not full from the meal before and your stomach's empty, I mean, you can eat a lot.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know to say how you do it. Your body just kind of
like
tells
practice.
you when you're full, and it, you know, you can eat. I don't know, you just can. But it's important to eat enough, and then you're full. There's actual stretch receptors in our stomach and in our small intestines that help send a signal up our spinal cord to a part of our brain called the hypothalamus, and that's part of what creates satiety, the sensation of feeling full. At the same time, you got a pile of nutrients in there, so your body has what it needs. And when you do that, you can eat a lot of food, feel full, feel satiated, you're super nutrient replete, and you've got just the right amount of calories, not an excess. But when you don't eat that extra volume, you're going to be limited in calories, and that's just not sustainable over the long term. So again, it's a lot of fun, but it's important to eat enough. I mean, my guess, my salad bowl at night, it's like 12 inches wide, it's about 8 inches deep, and it's about 2/3 full. There's a whole head of lettuce in there, there's a whole head of cauliflower in there, there's a few zucchini shredded up in there, there's a tomato dressing or something like that. I mean, it's
wonderful.
It's a lot, and you feel great after that. So eat enough volume of food, and don't be afraid to overeat. You really, unless you're eating a lot of dried fruit on a fruit and vegetable based diet, it's very difficult to overeat.
Oh yeah, it is, definitely.
So chow down, and it's so great. You get to eat tons of food, super nutritious, easy to digest. You feel really full,
and most people love to eat.
I mean,
they just
totally,
want to eat
right?
without any guilt, because you can eat these big, giant, delicious salads and just, you know.
So eat lots of food is number one. Eat enough calories. And we don't recommend that people, say, weigh their food or get too, obsessive like that. But sometimes at the beginning, it can be helpful to, say, use Chronometer or some other type of software to put in what you eat and see how many calories are there. And then you get the idea, wow, I can eat a lot. So just to do that as an exercise to educate yourself a little, but then I wouldn't suggest continuing that, because you don't want to get obsessive about things. You just want to make it, you're hungry, you eat till you're full, and then you do it again a few hours later, and it just becomes simple, just listening to your body.
Exactly. Sweet. Perfect. So, second thing.
Second would actually be eating too many calories. So there are some different camps of raw food nutrition, different camps of nutrition in general. And so within the raw food community, there are some that, fruit's bad according to them, and even some vegetables are bad, like the raw cruciferous vegetables are bad, and some people even think lettuce is bad. So then instead they focus on things out of the dehydrator. Remember we said water was a huge determinant of calorie density, so dehydrator, take the water out. Things out of the dehydrator, coconut oil, olive oil, nuts, seeds, those types of foods can be included in your diet, although I'm not really a fan of the oils.
Yeah,
but the nuts and seeds and dehydrated foods here and there.
Yeah.
But when people make those the staples, then that little volume of food has a lot of calories in there. And so when people go the more gourmet route and they're making all the pizzas and the lasagnas, people can actually gain weight and eat more calories than they were before. And then they say, well, I tried a raw food diet and the food tasted good, but my cholesterol went up and my blood pressure's up and I gained weight. So you don't want to fall into that trap either.
Yeah.
Now, some people going back have a hard time eating only fruits and vegetables, because you do. I mean, it's a challenge just to get enough calories. So if you focus on fruits and vegetables, and then maybe have a small quantity of a few nuts and seeds, maybe in a dressing with vegetables that you pour over more vegetables, then you don't get too much, but you've added a little calorie density to your salad, and you kind of get it just right. So the fruits and vegetables really have to be there, and then the more concentrated stuff in smaller quantities, and then you don't have too much, you don't have too little, you're just right, and life is good.
Yeah, I like the way you think, because it's like everything I teach people on my channel, so it's like a nice confirmation to hear it from you. But yeah, like with the dehydrator, and most people, you guys know, that I actually use it mainly just to warm stuff up or marinate. And
perfect.
So, yeah, I use it as a tool, especially living in Canada, when it can...
Cold a lot of the year, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just like throw things in the dehydrator for maybe an hour or two, just to warm them up or let them marinate in the sauce. They get really, really good. And then, you know, add them to the salad or something like that.
Gets a little concentrated, a little more flavorful, right on.
But I rarely do the dehydrated, like the fully dehydrated stuff does not do well with me. And like my first 10 years of practicing and playing around with raw, before I went raw in 2014, I was doing the high-fat thing and the gourmet thing, and I was eating a lot of kale chips and a lot of nuts, and then I'd eat a cup of berries, and I'd have a sugar crash, and I'd be like, tomorrow I shouldn't have as many berries.
Yeah, I heard you say that in the talk, right.
Yeah, so it is totally true.
Yep.
Number 3.
All right, number 3. Boy, there's a lot of number 3s I could pick, but I would say for number 3 is probably a lack of proper education. Now, you could say I'm biased because my wife and I have a whole curriculum called Mastering
But you
Raw
guys
Food
have
Nutrition.
got some good stuff.
But, you know, my 30 years and my wife's 30 years of experience and our clinical experience and our personal experience and research is all in there. But one of the reasons something like that is valuable, we're not the only place you can go and learn more things from. But what happens oftentimes is people are, let's say you got the calorie thing down, you got a balanced diet, you're feeling good, but then some well-meaning person in your life comes along and says, you know, I was just watching these videos online and this doctor was talking about the importance of, say, DHA, the long-chain omega-3 fat, which helps our brain work right, helps our hormones work right. And they were saying that human beings, you can't take the ALA, alpha-linolenic acid, in leafy greens and fruits and vegetables and chia and flax and hemp and walnuts and convert that into this stuff DHA. So you must be low in DHA as a vegan. Now, as it turns out, that's not necessarily the case. There's some significant science behind it that we won't go into, but I, you know, love nerding out on that stuff and explaining it to people in simple ways. But let's say somebody told me that. I know the science behind it. I know what those research studies say. I also know a different perspective, and that's part of my clinical experience working with raw vegans for many years and seeing those types of results. And I know what my DHA levels are. I also know what the symptoms of DHA deficiency are, and I know I'm not suffering from those. So nobody in the world could come tell me I need to eat fish because I'm not getting enough DHA. I'm too well educated. So there's one example. And then when we, you know, then there's beta carotene and lycopene. You need to cook for that. You need to get enough protein. You don't convert to vitamin A if you don't eat animal products. You know, all these other things that can throw people off track don't have to happen when you're really well educated. And then also when you're really well educated, you can make sure you're doing everything really well and dialed in for your specific needs.
Yes. Thank you so much. Oh, this has been such a great chat. Hopefully you guys learned something, and it's raining now.
We are getting pelted here, so we're going to wrap it up.
Wrap it up, so please let people know where they can find you.
Oh, rawfoodeducation.com is our website. From there you can click on the Mastering Raw Food Nutrition tab and learn about our curriculum. Over on the right side you can get our top 12 long-term success strategy ebook if you give us your email address. And then below that is our YouTube and Instagram stuff. So rawfoodeducation.com is the place for all of that.
Perfect. So thank you very, very much
My pleasure, Melissa.
doing this video in the rain with me. If you guys liked this video, please click like and subscribe to my channel to get notifications for more. You can click that little bell and you'll get notifications sent directly to you whenever I post a new video. You can find me on Instagram at Raw Food Romance, on Facebook, Lissa's Raw Food Romance, and on Snapchat, Lissa Raw Vegan. So until the next video, guys, fruit on!
Thanks so much.